This is Chapter 12 of A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin, and it's written from Eddard Stark's perspective, the quiet, honourable Lord of Winterfell. This chapter takes place shortly after the royal visit to Winterfell, where King Robert Baratheon has asked Ned to become the Hand of the King. The entire realm seems calm on the surface, but tension is bubbling underneath. Assassinations, secrets, and old grudges. It all starts in the cold silence just before dawn. Ned is shaken from sleep by Alyn, one of his men, only to find King Robert already mounted, covered in furs, impatient and gruff like always. Robert doesn't want to talk inside the tent. Too many ears. He wants to ride. So off they go. The king is pushing his big black warhorse hard, and Ned struggles to keep up. It's quiet, except for the wind and hooves pounding the cold ground. They leave the main road and head out into the misty open plains. The king finally slows down as dawn breaks, and he's in high spirits, laughing like a boy, thrilled to be riding freely again. He vents about how annoying the royal wheelhouse is, how it creaks and moans and slows him down. He even jokes about burning the thing and making his queen, Cersei, walk. Robert, always nostalgic, fantasizes about the old days. Just him and Ned, riding alone with swords and no responsibilities. He talks about tavern wenches and sleeping under the stars. Ned, always the serious one, reminds him they've got duties now, wives, children, a kingdom. That's when the king brings up an old and sensitive topic, Ned's illegitimate child. He teases Ned, trying to recall the woman's name. Ned stays cold and polite. Her name was Wyler, and he wants to leave it at that. Robert keeps poking, but Ned's clearly uncomfortable and ashamed. He doesn't want to relive that past. They stop at a ridge overlooking a wide plain dotted with barrows, old grave mounds from the first men. Robert jokes about riding into a graveyard, but that's not what this ride is really about. The king finally reveals the real reason he dragged Ned out so early. A message came in the night. It's from Lord Varys, the king's master of whisperers. A secret letter. Robert hands it over. Ned reads the letter and is immediately concerned. It's not about Lysa Arryn as he feared. No, this one's about Daenerys Targaryen. She's just married a Dothraki horse lord, Khal Drogo. Robert's not happy. He talks about sending her a wedding gift, a knife, and someone bold enough to use it. Ned doesn't even pretend to be shocked. Robert's hatred for the Targaryens runs deep, borderline madness. Ned tries to reason with him. She's just a girl, he says. You're not Tywin Lannister, but Robert isn't hearing it. He rants about Rhaegar, Lyanna, and the atrocities committed by the Targaryens, real or imagined. To him, every Targaryen is a threat, even the children, even unborn ones. But Ned holds his ground. The murder of children is vile, he says. That sparks a wild outburst from Robert. He yells about Ned's brother Brandon and his father's deaths, about Rhaegar and Lyanna. Robert's rage is raw, personal. He shouts about killing every last Targaryen and pissing on their graves. Ned, staying calm, points out the truth. They can't even reach Daenerys now. She's deep in Pentos, guarded and now tied to a Dothraki warlord. Robert curses himself for not killing her earlier when he had the chance. He blames Jon Arryn, who had always counselled patience. They shift topics to Khal Drogo's army, a massive horde of warriors. Robert sees them as a real threat. Ned reminds him that the Dothraki don't have ships. They fear the sea. As long as they stay across the narrow sea, they're not a problem. But Robert isn't convinced. He worries that traitorous lords in Westeros, still loyal to the Targaryens, will rise up if the Dothraki invade. Then comes another big issue. The Warden of the East. Jon Arryn is dead, and someone needs to take his place. Robert refuses to give the title to Jon's son, a sickly boy. Ned suggests Stannis Baratheon, Robert's brother, who proved himself in war. But Robert brushes it off. His silence is telling. Ned catches on. "You've already promised it to someone," he says. Robert's annoyed. "What if I have?" Ned guesses right. It's Jaime Lannister. That changes the mood. Ned is visibly disturbed. He reminds the king that Jaime is already set to inherit the Warden of the West from his father, Tywin Lannister. Giving him both East and West would place half the kingdom's armies in the hands of one family, the Lannisters. Robert tries to brush it off, but Ned keeps pressing. "Can you trust Jaime?" he asks. Robert insists Jaime is loyal. He's part of the Kingsguard. Ned hits him with a hard truth. Jaime once swore to protect Aerys Targaryen, and then he slit the king's throat. That brings them back to the end of the war. Ned recalls arriving at King's Landing, expecting resistance, but finding the Lannisters already inside. Tywin Lannister had pretended loyalty to the Targaryens, only to betray them once inside the gates. Robert doesn't care. He calls it payback. But Ned remembers. He remembers the slaughter. He remembers Jaime Lannister sitting on the Iron Throne, wearing golden armor and a lion-shaped helm. A dead king at his feet, dragon skulls staring from the walls. Jaime had said, "Have no fear, Stark. I was only keeping it warm for our friend Robert." Robert laughs at the memory. "He was just a boy," he says, but Ned doesn't laugh. Boy or man, he had no right to that throne. Robert tries to shake it off. "I'm tired of politics and secrets. Let's ride." As Robert gallops ahead, Ned stays behind for a moment. He's overwhelmed, not just by Robert's stubbornness, but by everything happening around him. The court, the politics, the dark news from the east. He misses his home. He misses his wife, Catelyn. He misses Bran. But he can't go back. Not now. So Ned puts his heels to his horse and follows his king over the barrows. So this chapter ends with Eddard Stark riding into deeper waters. Politically, emotionally, and maybe even fatally. He's now tied tighter to Robert and the crown than ever before, even though he's seeing the warning signs all around him. If you liked this chapter, make sure to hit that like button, turn on the bell icon so you never miss a new chapter, and go check out the previous ones too.